Peace, family. This is your boy Gerald. It is March 1st, 2020. How is everybody doing? Some of y'all may know that is Pisces season. But yeah, those who are born after the 15th of February and March is here. And I'm actually pretty excited because, God willing, on the 7th, I'll mark another year of life. And I'm excited. I first of all, thank you for being you. Thank you for your time because you could allocate your time to whatever your focus may be. But I know in the intended time and moment, you'll see this video and what I am going to convey from my heart by way of my mouth, hopefully to your ear. I hope that it resonates. And if it doesn't, in the intended time, it will. Because it is about each one teach one. It's about speaking things into existence. It's about having the perceptions and responsibility for affirmations which we wish to pursue and possess. The sun is coming out. It's quiet. You might can pick up the background sound of the coffee maker percolating because I gotta have my fresh bean. I gotta have it. And these last couple weeks, well, really these last almost 45, almost 2 months, have been nothing but amazing. And I've echoed this numerous times before. But I'm here to tell you everything that you are witnessing, everything you are embracing, all starts here. And I used to say this a long time ago. It was first the word. And that word began progression to create thought. And that thought evolved into a choice or pattern, which would eventually evolve into a behavior. But it goes back to that one word, the one nucleus of it all. Think about all the times that, may it be by impulse or by focus, a choice came from that. And look at what the choice spawned. The events it attracted, the actions that resulted from it, and the validation that came once reflection was embraced. You can't tell me that you're not special. You can't tell me you are not blessed. You can't tell me everything or nothing happens without calculated thought. Let that sink in for a second. Now, you may be in a paradigm where it may be perplexed. You may have some conflicts you may have to resolve. But what is a conflict? A conflict is a challenge placed before you, resulting in you to make a decision of action. And I'm saying this for a couple reasons. We are in the third month of this year. Just remember where you were New Year's Eve, what you were doing. Just take a second to ponder that. You may have decided that that was the day that you were going to celebrate, or that would have been the day that you would have said so long, conclusion, closing, because that's what it is. It's all about the cycle. But somewhere along the way, some of us have forgotten, either by willful neglect. And what I mean by willful neglect, I mean to deliberately put a distraction so you won't have to focus, out of sight, out of mind. And then in other cases, you are steadfast and you are vigilant. You may hear Tyson in the background. I don't know. He's always been a little ham when he hears me talking. I don't know why. I swear I want to put a mic right there and like, go ahead, say everything you want to say. Go ahead. But he's fine. They're both fine. But you know, I knew, just to go back, New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2019. When I was laying on that gurney and I had those tubes running into my body, and I had people coming in and out of that room, and I tried to not allow myself to be afraid. Not because I'm being a tough guy. It's just sooner or later you have to get to a point in your life where you realize there are things that are not only bigger than you, but you have no control of. You don't. And you have to come to terms of your mortality. And I wasn't afraid about that. I was not afraid of that because I knew that for myself that everything up to that point, I tried to live in my best life, to be authentic. Well, let me correct myself right now. You can't be authentic. You are authentic. You can't be anything until you decide to claim it first. That's like someone going into the mall saying, I'm going to go buy me some tennis shoes, but they continue to walk past the establishment and not go inside to claim, you know, or better yet, because I used this analogy long ago too. It's just like seeing something you wish to purchase, and there is the market value of that said item, but it doesn't have any weight until you claim it. It's still that garment hanging on the hanger. It still will have the price point that it was agreed upon to place it in the establishment. But it does not have any value until you decide to claim it. Otherwise, what sets it apart from everything else that you see? Now, I know that some people actually get a little riled up when it comes to talking about things that are found within yourself, because that strikes a chord to some people, because we've gotten to a point where we're so inundated on pleasing the environment than cultivating what matters most. And that's that person in the mirror. That's that little boy and that little girl that still lives in you to this day. And maybe that is the reason why there's unfortunately still a lot of people walking around with wounds of time long ago. And it's a tragedy, but it's a travesty too, because that still works not done. That's still effort that has to be claimed, even at the smallest position of acknowledgement. Do you realize how many people put so much effort in denial than in what they stand on or what they stand for? That's what feeds pride and ego. That is also the proverbial financial line that separates those who have compared to those who have not. But if they do not see the value of how it correlates to you, guess what? Even if you have it, you won't have it for long. Or worse, if it costs you more than the investment to possess it or identify, it's a price too high to be paid. Yes, you hear people say, well, not everything's good for everybody. What will be, will be. How so? You're missing the one aspect that is needed. You. You know, like that old parable, you've heard it. If a tree falls down in the forest and no one's there, does it make a sound? It's the same thing. No matter what's going on in the environment, if you're not there, how can you identify with it? How can you relate? You won't have the magnitude for your emotions to understand. It's just like you might as well be going through life with the mute button going on. It's the same effect. And I'm not saying that Durant family. I'm just saying, I wish I could give credit where credit is due, but unfortunately, I can't because I don't know who coined the phrase. But someone had said 2020 is the year of clarity. All that has been hidden will be seen. Why? Because now is the time that you have to acknowledge what's in front of you, what works needs to be done to get to your harvest, your abundance, your reward, your validation. And to some people, it scares the hell out of them. It scares them because they're afraid that the platform that they're on, it may be that proverbial straw because of a choice once made or a secret that has been held will be revealed. The Most High said it long ago, all will be revealed in the intended time. And yes, he also said, you do not have because you did not ask. Well, how do you ask? You ask from your heart, not from your mouth, through your intentions. That is where purity is. That is what intimacy is about. That is why you hear the word integrity, character, dignity. But I'm not going to sit up here and put this facade on as if we don't make mistakes. We're human. The Most High knew that when He created us. You are born to sin. But He loved us so much. And even though we only access 6%, He still afforded us opportunity to gain wisdom from it, directly or indirectly. I really believe that 2020 is going to be a transformational year. I really believe that. I used to always use this part of the scripture long ago. I would always echo, those who are last shall be made first, and those who are first shall be made last. And you know what separates the two? Insight and wisdom. Because when you embrace the wisdom, you will make change. You will authentically be able to discern without fear. Let me ask you this. Why in 2020 some of you still refuse not to love yourself? Some have been convinced through the social narrative that you need someone to love you to be loved. But that's a distraction and a distortion because until you decide to love you by means of seeing your worth first, can you have the tools and actually attract the people that are going to actually show that. That is why, let's come on now. Think about all them relationships you didn't been in. Look good. Oh, they look good. Had you setting your watch, had you checking your phone. Some of y'all driving around the corner. But what they couldn't do is have you safe, emotionally safe. Anybody can be with somebody out of fear. I'm talking about emotional safe. I'm talking about when your spiritual essence rests easy. That's where there's a difference between sleep and slumber. Slumber, you may know that is that REM sleep. I'm talking about you sleep so hard when you wake up you don't even know what day it is. Or you sleep so hard and when you wake up you thinking that you overslept and you late for work because that means what you're seeing is at that mere moment your body was still but your mind was at peace. Didn't matter what was going on in the environment. It was actually that time what you just witnessed where the mind, body, and spirit was one. Was one. And maybe that is why some of you are going through the uneasy task of acceptance because it seems like when you get around a certain group of people, things start, you start seeing these synchronicities. Your money starts acting funny. You start going through unnecessary changes. And you've gotten to the point that you can identify, like every time I'm around you, there is something. What is it? You know why? Because that is another example for you to learn that lesson. And that person or said experience is the example. And that is nothing but the Most High saying, did you get it? Do you understand what I'm showing you? I'm giving you an opportunity to make cognitive change. But a lot of times we worry about ego and we dispel it. And what happens? The environment changes and it gets difficult. The faces change and the problems become more heavier. It's because he loves us that much. It's like, no, you got to learn this. I got to make sure that you get this because what I have in store for you, you won't be able to wrap your mind around it. You won't. You may think you can, no, because we also know that we can't outthink. Or like what was that play? Your arms are not long enough to box with God. Yeah, come on now, come on. So let me just caveat from that. I feel very optimistic about this year more than I ever have. And I know that because for a long time within my spirit, I knew change was on the horizon. For one, I prayed for it because you can't manifest without prayer. But those prayers must be pure. But I knew it was going to occur, and I didn't know how it was going to present itself, but I knew. And look at how the end of the year played out. Hurt was hurt. Doc said, "Hey, looks like you may have a heart aneurysm. We're going to have to take a look at that." And shortly after that, I looked at this person that looked just like me looking back on the screen. Now I'm not gonna put the cart before the horse, but I really believe that was definitely synchronicity because I knew that what was going on had to be dealt with responsibly first of all, but with compassion secondly. And tenderness and sensitivity was the requirement. And it was then when I realized that what overall was being shown was temperance, patience, and we can all agree on this. We move in God's time, not ours. That's why you've always heard the saying, He's never there when you want him, but He's always on time because He is the sun. We are the planets. We revolve around Him. That is why no person knows when the day will be called, well, they will take their last breath. So that's why you hear those who do not have a connection with their spirit, they throw descriptive words out there like YOLO, you only live once. Carpe diem, seize the day. Well, how can you seize anything if you don't have control of you first? And what I mean by having control of you, I mean what you stand on, what you're about. We could have all the dreams and admiration and aspirations that we can fathom. But until we have an honest, authentic relationship with that person in the mirror that greets you every morning and tucks you in every night, they are responsible for your dreams as well as your direction. You. I put that video out the other day. Until you decide that you matter, how you going how are you going to honestly understand what future looks like or where you're headed or unfortunately where you've been? And it seems like society wants to give a gold star on being the victim, not the survivor. And the only reason why they do that is because they make money off of it, playing with your emotional triggers. Oh, yeah. If there was no money to be made, they wouldn't speak on it. They could care less. But that would be too real now, wouldn't it? Now, let's not get distracted. Let's get back to 2020. You blink twice, family, the flowers will be in bloom. The fragrance from the petals will be in the air. And some of y'all know that's going to be pollen season too. I know. I know. I ain't looking forward to that either. No, I ain't. No. Anyway, but that will be also marking the end, almost the closure of the first cycle, because the year is divided in four. So a fourth of your year will be behind you. It's not too late to put your aspirations in focus. I really believe there's a lot of you gonna you rolling your sleeves up and say, look here, I'm tired of playing the financial game to rob Peter to pay Paul. I gotta do something constructive. And let's be honest, once again, if there was no money to be made, you wouldn't hear people talking about it. But the social narrative for a lot of people was they were fearful of looking at their financial health, terrified what they will see. But really, that is also the threshold that's going to help push you into the direction you need to be, because just like you have to be cognitive of your personal health, you also got to make sure that your financial health is together. I know some of y'all are like, well, Gerald, you don't understand. I got 10 credit cards, three of them are already charged off. I'm in collections with two more. And, I'm trying to figure it out, but, my money's funny. Okay. But guess what? The moment that you decide to be honest with yourself, that's the moment where you can sit down and come up with a game plan on how you're going to tackle it. Think of it this way. Let's look at weight, your body weight. You may be like for no, let me speak it right. Hold on, before I do that, let me get some coffee real quick, okay? Give me give me 1 minute, okay? 1 minute. Okay. Got my coffee. I'll be right back. All right, appreciate your patience. Okay. And I got the live chat on too. Okay, let me. Okay, this is on too. This is live. Let's talk about weight. I remember in my late teens, well, my all my teen life, I was real skinny. I had height, and then it wasn't until I hit my 20s. That's when I hit my really started going my growth. My I had a major growth spurt, and I was hitting the gym, and I got up to 200 and 250 pounds solid. And talk about body fat, body mass was like 16%. I was cut, I was big. And I carried that weight through my military tenure. And then when I became a civilian, you know, you're not eating right. The things that you normally do, you lose size, mass. Then I never was a heavy guy. I was never what you would say obese. Just never was because genetics from my father. But just using weight as an example, it takes time and indirect commitment to put that weight on. It's going to take time and commitment to fix it. But the common denominator is commitment. What are you committed to? Because some of you may think that this is a season where there is going to be change. And then you may have some that really believe that life as they know it is just what it is. Nothing's going to change. Well, number one, you got to change your viewpoint. If you do not want to better yourself, you're going to keep the same mentality and do nothing. But if you have that inkling, that pulling, that tugging within your spirit to say, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do, guess what? That ego, that insecurity will give way the moment that you take your first step towards it. Some of you may be working, saying, well, this is the year that I'm going to tap into my fitness. If that's what you want to do. Some of you may want to just start running again, or maybe you want to change the diet up. Whatever it may be. Maybe the fitness may be by way of your finances. You're like, okay, you know what? My beacon score sits here. I know my finances look like a car wreck. But guess what? That's your car wreck. But here's the beautiful thing. For the most part, every proverbial cars that has been wrecked can be fixed. Who am I talking to? it's just going to take time. It's going to take resources. The resources you committing to your focus, because then it will matter. Think about everything that you wanted to accomplish, and the moment you set your sight on it, you didn't get distracted. You stayed the course. And just like being in traffic, no matter what time it is, you're going to be going down the highway, you're going to hit traffic, you might even get gridlock, but you stay the course. And eventually you come out on the other side and you can look back and see where you've been and understand what it took to get you where you are now. That's your insight. And as time progresses, you will reflect on that accomplishment. And then you will even assess again, because you'll allow yourself to say, you know what? I'm happy I was able to achieve that, but I could have even maybe done it quicker if I'd done this. That's your wisdom. That's your wisdom. And peace and blessings, KL. I spoke this the day, New Year's Day. I, I'm not the type of person going to say, I told you so. But you can write a check on this. Don't get comfortable in this, because I believe God's preparing my home. Because I waited a long time, family. You're looking at somebody that was a professional renter. Yeah. You know, my parents used to always get on me like, hey, why don't you invest in some property? And it wasn't that I was afraid to invest. I didn't, in my mind, I was thinking, no, I don't want anything to tie me down. If I decide that there's an opportunity in Bangladesh, just hypothetically, if I wanted to grab bags and go, I want to go. But then I had to change my perspective on real estate. And I'm at the point now, it's not about me. It never was. It's about my legacy. It's about, it's going to be about my proverbial children. You know, it's about them, my family. It's about them. And, you know, I'm ready. And, and actually, I've already seen, I've already seen the house that I'm going to dwell in. And there are things that I have to do to prepare. And I'm doing that aggressively. Make sure my finances are on point, you know. But I can tell you for sure though, this is March, April, May. I'm gonna speak it into existence. May 15th, 2020, I'll be in my home. And I can't wait. The environment's gonna change. There's gonna be so much that is going to change. Plus, there's some things that I'm gonna do, because I know that seeing is believing. And just know that it comes from a good place, because God's direction is my will, and I trust Him just as I trust His angels. That's why I have to stay prayed up. That is why when I pray, and I stay constantly in prayer, I make sure that my prayers for y'all too, because I want you to also have the best life. And in summation, let's be crystal clear. You cannot have the best life if you are not invested in you. How can it come to pass? How can it? I know some people are like, well, Gerald, what about generational curses? You know how you break generational curses? First of all, you acknowledge they exist and you forgive, but you learn. Because unfortunately, yes, you are connected by blood and bone to people that look just like you, that you have to love them from afar because where they are in their development. That's why you hear about sibling nepotism or sibling rivalries for y'all may know. It's like you guys can't get along, y'all like oil and water. But guess what? So was Cain and Abel, right? Mm-mm. Everybody has a prophecy over their lives that was agreed upon the moment they took their first breath. So, not to sound morbid, you got work to do. You got work that has to be done. Can't put it over. You can't throw it over your shoulder like I didn't see that. They say the pink elephant in the room. No, you got to stop that. Because as long as you choose not to acknowledge what needs to be addressed respectfully, tactfully, even if that requires distance, if it requires silence, because the strongest form of communication is silence. The elders would always say this: I can show you better than I can tell you. And I have a lot to show. It's coming. It's coming, fam. It's coming. But from me to you, I look forward to what 2020 is going to show. This year is definitely going to be a springboard for a lot of people. And then unfortunately, there are going to be some that are going to feel like they're moving in place. This is because there's work. You can't go, you can't go, if you're in A, you can't get to Z without going through the alphabet. There are steps to this, there are levels to this. But don't be afraid to take the first step. Because guess what? The people that genuinely have your best interests are relying on you to do the work. People you ain't even met yet. I mean, think about it. I don't know. It took me a minute, a long time ago. I figured out you attract your perception and your reality, just like the people that are in it. It's a reflection of your state of mind. I know I beat that drum a lot, but it's true. It's true. So when you decide to acknowledge it authentically, watch how drastic your life will change. Watch. Because on the other side of fear is your blessing. Oh yeah, this is gonna be an awesome summer. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I'm about to bring this to a close. I don't know what you just sent me. I tried to I did see it though, but I didn't see what you put. But it said hide or show, but I put it there. So, but anyway, I hope you have a blessed week. I hope you have a blessed month. I'll be on here when I'm inspired to do so, like all the time. I don't come on here just to. No, he says, "Hey, put that out," and I put it out. Why? Because you're worth it. Why? Because you're blessed. Time for you to claim it, right? Better go get your blessings. Till then, have a blessed week.